Yeah.
Everyone present on the call today. My name is Sindhuja and I'm from Marsh, India. And today it's a very special session because we have Dr. Anand Mohan Agrawal, sir. So, like they say, before we proceed into the session, I would just like to say that it is always we hear that what we think is what the universe attracts, and what we believe strongly, even our slightest of thoughts do come back to us in some or the other way. But it is very difficult these days to stay positive and without any stress, because of so many things that we come across and confront every day. It can be at work, at personal life, with friends, in a social circle. So staying very positive is difficult these days. So, Dr. Anand Agarwal sir will definitely help us to make small lifestyle changes in our life daily routine, and what we can do to combat this. So he's a seasoned speaker. He's already given more than 800 sessions based on wealth management and risk management practices. And today he is here to tell us about how do we stay younger, healthier, which will definitely lead to being happier for a longer time. So over to you, sir. Welcome to the session.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sindhuja, and thanks for organizing this as well. And okay, so since introductions are over, I'm sure all working professionals would like to remain younger for as long as possible and healthier and happier, isn't it? So this is what the session is all about. And before we get into the thing, let us first try to understand, why does health deteriorate with age? As you keep growing older, you keep developing some aches and pains and some other lifestyle diseases. So that is mainly because of the sedentary lifestyle that people have started living. Earlier, the people were forced to move around a lot because they were doing agriculture or hunting or whatever. And later on, today the situation has become so nice or comfortable for all of us that sitting on the couch, you have a remote in your hand, you can do whatever you want on TV. And though you may not go for a Himalayan expedition physically, you can do a virtual Himalayan expedition, and people feel it is equally good or better perhaps because they don't have to move any muscle, which is actually very bad for them. It's very bad for their health. And the next thing is poor eating habits. So earlier, people would eat only once in the morning and once in the evening because they were busy throughout the day, and they did not have so many restaurants and Swiggy and so many other people delivering food at their own, whatever time, whenever they wanted. And also poor sleeping habits. Earlier, people were getting up early and going to sleep early because there was no light bulb, there was no electricity. And once the electricity was there, light bulb was introduced. I think that was the biggest curse on humanity because that made staying up late at night very much possible and easy for everybody. And everybody is sleeping late and getting up late also. And the biggest factor, stress. Now, I'll be covering all of that one by one. So, what do we need to do to improve our health? First is keep moving. So, I would recommend that even if you're doing a desk job, you should get up, stretch, and climb up and down stairs. Use the staircase whenever possible. And park your car at the far end of the parking lot so that you have to walk a few extra steps to reach the lift at least. And if possible, avoid the lift, take the staircase, at least if it is walkable 4 or 5 floors or whatever. If it is 15, 20 floors, then perhaps taking the staircase may not be advisable initially, but later on, once you build up your confidence and stamina, then the more you walk, the better for you, right? And I would suggest you start using a pedometer wherein you can start counting how many steps that you are walking every day. And ideally, one should walk minimum 10,000 steps every day. Now, why that is important? Everybody thinks it's not so important. Well, one scientific reason why walking or doing some physical exercise is very important is because there are many parts in your body where the blood is unable to reach, and there are no blood veins, nothing is there. So, how does the body get nutrition? How do the cells in that part of the body get nutrition? So first, which parts of the body, like the kind of cells in between your two vertebrae, right? There cannot be a blood vessel there because the blood vessel may get punctured and a lot of problems could happen. And so, but still, there are quite a few cells in between the two vertebrae, in between the bones, the two bones joining near your knees and your elbows and all that. So they also need nutrition. So when you move your joints, what really happens is the muscle, the cells get squeezed. When they get squeezed, they expel all the toxins. And when they get pressure is released, they suck or absorb all the energy, the glucose and the oxygen or whatever from the surrounding areas, even when there are no blood vessels which are capable of delivering the required energy to each individual cell. So walking or moving your body or stretching and doing some exercise regularly is going to be very beneficial for you. And the next point is eating. So I see a lot of people eating a lot of junk food, pizza, burger, and a lot of cheese and even non-vegetarian and milk products and all that. So though technically speaking, some of these things, especially people said if you want protein, you must eat non-veg. If you want calcium, you must drink milk. So it has been found or proven scientifically that most of these things are actually bad for your health. So you should eat very nutritious and healthy food. And my definition of nutrition and healthy food is anything that is plant-based. So, and even things like you can eat as much makka butta, the maize as you want by roasting it or boiling it. But the more processing you do to the corn, the worse it becomes for your health. Like cornflakes is not as good, and high fructose corn syrup, which is extremely refined product and which is extensively used as a sweetener in the US and most other countries, is very, very bad for your health. So the more processing that is done to any food, the worse it becomes for your health. So do as much processing as possible in your kitchen, and that food should be good for your health. In any case, another theory is sun cooked food is better than any other food cooked over a flame. So by sun cooked, I mean any food that is ripened and harvested and eaten raw without any flame or heat being applied to it. So that obviously includes a lot of fruits and a few vegetables like carrots and mooli and perhaps many other vegetables that can be eaten raw. All right. So, but if you do not want to eat raw, you can always boil it or do whatever possible in the kitchen and with minimal oil. That's the most important thing. And like you can have as many peanuts as you want. That will not be so bad for health. But don't extract the oil from the peanut and take only the peanut oil after throwing away the rest of the stuff. Because that no longer is whole food. So now I hope you understand what my definition of whole food is and what nutritious food is. So what really happens when we eat some food every day, our body needs some energy to maintain itself. It's called the basal metabolic rate, the BMR. So it's around 1,500 calories to 2,000 calories from most healthy individuals today, depending on your weight and age and gender and all that. So if you eat anything more than what you need to eat, the body is very sensible. It will not waste it. It will convert that extra calories into fat and store it in two modes. One is as a thin layer beneath your skin, that is called the subcutaneous fat, and also in the areas in your belly, that is called the visceral fat. So the visceral fat is actually very dangerous for your health. The subcutaneous fat is also not good to have too much, but little bit is actually proven to be good for health. But what you need to focus on is to have bare minimum visceral fat. How much, all that I'll explain as we go along. So by continuously eating extra calories every day, you keep adding or depositing more and more fat inside your own body as visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. And what really happens if you keep loading your refrigerator with more and more food, there's a limit to how much extra food the refrigerator can take. And in any case, the old food will start becoming stale, will start polluting the entire refrigerator. And that's exactly the same reason why lifestyle disorders happen. If you start storing food and continue to store food for a longer period in time without ever retrieving that food and utilizing it, and that's the reason for obesity, hypertension, diabetes, even including cancer, dementia, and many other lifestyle disorders. So what you should do, you should go to sleep early. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm sure all of you have heard that many, many years ago, but forgotten all about it. That's very important because the human body follows a circadian rhythm, which means at 10 o'clock in the night, your liver starts cleansing itself from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. that is the time when the liver starts cleansing itself. Now, one thing which you may have noticed, people who are habituated to attending parties may start drinking at 10 p.m. and continue to drink till midnight. So they're actually polluting the liver, not giving it any chance to cleanse itself. So will the liver punish you or not? Or will your own body punish you or not because you're not allowing it to clean itself? And like that, for each organ of your body, a specific time has been allotted. And if instead of allowing it to clean itself, you keep polluting it, then obviously you're going to keep suffering from lifestyle diseases. Then therefore, it's very important for you to have your last meal at least 3 hours before going to sleep. And sleep on an empty stomach because the liver can start cleaning itself at 10 o'clock. After that, the kidneys will take over, then the small intestine, large intestine, each and every internal organ has a set time at which it will perform the cleansing and healing operations. So allow the body to maintain itself properly by sleeping early and getting up early as well. And make sure that when you go to sleep, the room is pitch dark, no night lights, because any small amount of light impinging on your third eye chakra that is here in the middle of the eyebrow, that actually will start giving a signal to your body saying, hey, dawn is about to break. So your blood pressure will start rising, your body will start warming up a little bit, a few hormones that are necessary will start getting secreted, and that's basically preparing your body to get up and start moving. So that is why you're unable to sleep when there is even slight amount of light impinging on your third eye chakra. Whenever you go to sleep, make sure this room is absolutely pitch dark. So then finally, you also need to manage stress. I'm sure most working professionals are leading a very highly stressful life. That is because some of them are unable to manage their work-life balance or so many other problems. Their work pressures are also very high. So to reduce stress, what you need to do is concentrate more on the actions that you're performing without bothering too much about the outcome. Simply by worrying about something, the you're not going to solve the problem. You're going to waste your energy and your time. So why do all that? Just focus on your work and let karma or whatever take care of itself. And if you're working in the correct direction, the results will always be positive and favorable. Then you should walk for about 30 minutes every morning and evening in a park where there's a lot of greenery and a lot of fresh air. So that is all very important because all of us are living in gated communities or even flats where we may not have so much exposure to greenery and fresh air. We are cut off from nature. So you need to commune with nature. So whenever you get a chance, whenever you see a tree or a beautiful shrub or a flower, try to commune with it by saying, oh, what a wonderful flower. I really like it. Or if the tree is there, go and hug the trunk of the tree and try to talk, if not loudly, at least mentally. And nature will start reciprocating and communing back with you. And you'll notice that all your tensions are dissipating very, very quickly when you start communing with nature. Then you should also meditate every day. Now, I'm sure most people will think, oh, what a waste of time. Why should I close my eyes and sit for 15, 20 minutes or even 1 hour, as most people suggest? But then, if you really want to give it a trial, close your eyes for just 5 minutes and see whether what happens. Your mind is very, very, chanchal, as they say in Hindi, or, it keeps thinking about something or the other all the time. So, and even before one thought process is over, the second thought will rise, and again your mind is dwelling on that second thought. So there are two kinds of thoughts that always keep disturbing you. One is something that already happened in the past or about something that may happen in the future, but you have to live life in the present moment. So what is the point of worrying about the future or repeatedly thinking about the past? That's not going to help you much. So whatever lesson that needed to be learned from what the mistakes or whatever happened in the past, learn those and move on in life. And you need to do some planning. I'm not saying don't do any planning, but don't keep thinking about the future and especially start worrying about things unnecessarily. And the other thing you'll notice, when the mind starts thinking, it'll think of only two types of things. One is something that very good that has happened to you, or something very bad. It does not want to remain neutral. So just to go a bit one step further on this thought, suppose something very bad happened to you 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You keep rolling in the same thoughts. Oh my God, what a horrible experience. And now, then you say, okay, now let that guy come back. And then this is what I'm going to say. And this is what I'm going to do. So from the past, you suddenly jump to the future. and keep rolling in the past and the future, but never want to live in the present. And from good things to bad things, from bad things, mind does not want to remain neutral. But if you want to experience happiness, you must learn to live or make your mind experience the present moment, start living in the present moment, and remain neutral, equanimous. Only then your mind will remain calm and peaceful. So, yeah, so are we really moving in the right direction? So I'm sure by now most of us, you would have felt that perhaps most of you are not. 99% of the people I see are moving in the opposite direction. So though everybody wants to remain healthier and happier for longer, we're all doing things that will make us very unhealthy and very unhappy. And our life may not also be continuing for a very long time. So we may live a very short life, and that too very unhealthy and a very unhappy life. So if you want to live healthier and happier for longer, then you need to implement all that is being said in this lecture. So the first parameter that you need to check, which is easily verifiable, is the circumference of your waist. If the circumference of your waist at the level of your belly button is greater than half your height, then you are storing a lot of belly fat that is definitely going to cause a lot of problems for you in future. So the sooner you do something about it, the better for you. So just to give an example, if your height is 5 feet 6 inches, 5 into 12 is 60 inches plus 66 inches is your total height. Divide by 2, 33 inches. So if your circumference at the waist at the level of your belly button is greater than 33 inches, then you're heading for trouble, serious trouble. It should be below 33. Is the point clear? And the next point is your BMI should be less than 25. So if you satisfy the above two criteria, then you're in reasonably good health. But I've seen some people who are very thin and perhaps satisfying both these criteria. They also may be having some health issues. So if at all you have any health issues, these are the bare minimum parameters that you need to check. So ideally, you should not be taking any medication at all, and your BP should be 120 by 80. Your fasting insulin should be between 3 and 25. Your fasting glucose should be less than 90. Your insulin resistance, that is calculated using a formula, fasting insulin multiplied by fasting glucose divided by 405, this should be below 1.5. And if your HbA1c is less than 5.6, then you're normal. And also your insulin resistance is below 1.5, then you're normal. But the moment your HbA1c becomes greater than 5.6, 7 to 6.4, then you become pre-diabetic. That means sooner or later you will become diabetic. That is the contention of the medical doctors. And if it is greater than 6.5, then you are diabetic. And the tragedy is, once you're declared diabetic, you have to take insulin or some medicine to keep the sugar within control. And as per the current practice, there is no escape. So that is very sad. There is an escape. You can either prevent it from happening, and if you're already there, something can be done to minimize your medication gradually over a period of time and totally do away with medication if you are able to change your lifestyle, adapt a few modifications that I'll be suggesting. And your total cholesterol should be below 200. Your D vitamin, vitamin D should be greater than 50. And your visceral fat, that is the fat that you store in your belly, in the abdomen, in the tissue organs, like your liver and pancreas and intestines, in the around the belly button, should be below 9%. So what happens when you eat something? So basically everybody eats food or consumes some liquids or solid because they need to provide some form of energy to the body. So there are two types of fuel the body needs. One is the glucose that is present in the food, or even the starches get converted into glucose. And the other is the fat that is present in the food, or in the form of the oils or the ghee and the whatever else you may eat, right? So whenever you consume a few extra calories, the pancreas starts producing insulin, and the glucose contained in the food is being pushed. But with the help of this insulin will trigger the cell to open up its door to allow the glucose to be absorbed, and the cells need the glucose to maintain them good health and also to multiply and you know do a lot of useful things for your body. So as soon as you start eating something, your pancreas starts secreting insulin, thereby giving a signal to your cells that, hey, some food is coming in, so be prepared to open your doors to let the glucose in. And if the insulin, I mean, the body mechanism is disrupted and the insulin is unable to get the door open and the glucose is not absorbed by these individual cells. There are about 30 trillion or 60 trillion cells in your body. Can you believe it? Yes, but then the insulin, the glucose levels in your blood start rising, and that's when you become pre-diabetic. If it continues to remain high, you become diabetic. And so, what do you need to do? I mean, to reduce your glucose levels, one is you can start doing a little bit of exercise every 10-15 minutes, get up, do some exercise like I already told you, and stop eating more frequently. I don't understand. There are many websites or many lectures saying that having smaller meals is good for health, but I mean, I am of the firm belief that having lesser number of meals is better for health because I myself had been implementing that 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, two snacks, and a cup of tea and coffee in between whenever I wanted, and perhaps a little bit of alcohol in the evening. All that I've tried, and my weight zoomed from 48 kgs as a teenager, or even when I was in BITS Pilani, my at the age of 22, 23, my weight was 48 kgs. It zoomed to 85 kgs. But because of the what I've been practicing, all the things I'm telling you in this lecture, currently my weight is reduced to 65 kgs, and I hope I'll bring it back further to below 60. And even my waist size has become less than half my height, so I'm in very good health. I got my health checked every 6 months, and I guess you should also be doing that. So anyway, so the extra calories consumed by you get converted into fat and stored in your liver and other places, right? So then what would happen if you start fasting? So the your body needs energy continuously to remain alive and healthy. So whether you eat or not is immaterial. And even earlier, people did not have this flexibility of eating at will. They would have to hunt or gather food, and maybe once in a day they would eat, or maximum twice in a day they would eat. So, but now because of the changed lifestyle, people are eating almost every hour or every 2 hours. So when you eat frequently, then the sugar levels in your blood continuously stay high and there's enough glucose. So the body uses glucose as the primary fuel most of the time, and very rarely it enters the fat burning mode. And fat actually is a cleaner fuel. If the body starts using fat, it is good for not only reducing your weight and the fat content, the visceral fat and the subcutaneous fat that is stored in your body, but it makes your brain sharper. And the brain size also actually starts increasing if you continue to do that for a long time. So by eating 3 meals a day and snacking 2 to 3 times a day, your body is continuously in the sugar burning mode, and very rarely, if at all, it'll get into the fat burning mode. Only when you restrict the number of times that you eat, your body will enter and remain in the fat burning mode for longer. So the lesser number of time, the less frequently that you eat, have a bigger gap in between the meals, the better for you. So these are the what are the various types of fasting? So one is the dry fasting, which is very difficult, and not advisable for everybody, and definitely not for beginners. So by dry fasting, it means you should not be eating or even drinking water for a prolonged period of time. Then there's something called water only fast. So that means you can drink as much water as you want when you feel thirsty, and this should go on for 36 hours. And some people have done it for 72 hours, which is 3 days, or even 120 hours, or even longer, and improve their health rather than allowing their health to deteriorate by doing that. And a lot of research is being done on that, and especially for cancer patients and all that, it has been recommended that they should go on a fast before chemotherapy and after chemotherapy. It helps improve them to maintain better health. And actually, if you notice animal kingdom, anything, your pet dog or anybody, if they're ill, you'll notice they will not eat anything. So why do we humans have to break the law of nature and eat when we are ill? So if you stop eating, you're giving your body enough time to heal itself, because your body can only do one thing at a time. It can either digest the food that you have eaten, and when there's no food to be digested, the rest of the time the body will keep healing itself. So if you want to give more time to for your body to heal itself, you must observe fasting, if not the 36 hour, at least the shorter versions, which I'll be explaining now. The other versions are one meal a day, where you can have one meal. Preferred time, according to me, should be before 12 noon, because I've heard so many stories about Buddha and all his disciples who had joined his Sangha. They were instructed to have only one meal a day before noon, and all of them were in very good health. And other thing is 2:5 fasting. That means 2 days in a week you fast, which most Indians have had been doing at least earlier. If you ask your parents or grandparents, they will tell you, yes, I would fast on a Tuesday and a Saturday twice a week. I would eat only one meal a day. So over a period of time, we've forgotten all the traditional values of fasting and all that. And we today think it's a waste of time and there's no point of fasting. But fasting was really very good for health, is really good for health, and will remain very good for health irrespective of the facilities that are available to you that prevent you from doing it. So 2:5 fasting means you fast on any 2 given days of your choice in a week. It need not be 2 consecutive days. It could be Tuesdays and Saturdays or Wednesdays and Sundays or whatever, right? And the next time of kind of fasting is you could have 2 meals a day with a shorter eating window. The first meal could be say 9 a.m. and the next meal should be preferably within 8 hours of it, or maximum 12 hours of it. So now I'm going to give you some mathematics. If you eat some extra calories, say 300 calories, 400 calories every day, in 30 days you'll put 9,000 calories divided by 3,500, like each for 3,500 calories of extra food that you've eaten will get converted into 1 pound of fat. So if your basic metabolic rate is 1,750, which is normal for almost 90% of all healthy individuals, working professionals included, then 1 pound of fat is enough for you to sustain your body for 2 days, assuming your BMR is 1750. But most people are obese by more than 30 pounds, right? So you can sustain your body for 60 days without food. And 30 pounds is roughly 13.6 kgs. So whatever your weight should be, I'm sure most people are obese extra by 13.6 kgs. So almost everybody, even if they don't eat anything for 60 days, they could survive on the stores they have already created, the stock that they've already created inside their bellies and below the skin. So theoretically, you could survive for food, without food for 2 months. But it is better to adopt shorter fasting period. Don't do 2 months at a time. It'll be very dangerous and it could be very, I mean, you could have some repercussions as well. So I would suggest that you practice something called intermittent fasting. So now again, it is a known phenomena that people start having the first meal. But first, any meal, I mean anything except water. Even a baked tea or a nimbu pani or a nariyal pani or coffee, everything else is at least a part of a meal, if not a full meal, right? So you may start your day with a baked tea early in the morning, then breakfast, and then some tea or coffee again by around 11, in between lunch, before lunch, and then heavy lunch followed by some dessert, and again another round of tea with some samosa, jalebi, or pizza, burger, whatever, and again uh, drinks of a couple of drinks with some snacks, and then dinner, midnight biryani, 4 a.m. biryani. My God, the list is endless. So if you're eating for more than 15 hours a day, and the last meal that you've eaten is a heavy meal that may take 5 to 8 hours to digest, then virtually you're living on a sugar as basic fuel to sustain your body. You're never entering the fat burning mode. So to give more time for your body to burn fat, you must do two things. First is restrict your eating window to as small as possible, preferably between 8 to 12 hours a day, and have fruits as your last meal. So the advantage of having fruits as your last meal is twinfold. First is the fruits get digested very quickly, usually in less than half an hour. And the fruits act like a cleanser for your digestive system. So it clean up your guts. And that is very beneficial for you because It has been noticed that 90% or 99% of all illnesses, the root cause of it lies in your own stomach, the guts. And if your guts are clean, you may not be prone to so many illnesses. So, to adapt this intermittent fasting, you need to adapt your eating window based upon your age. So, younger people below 35 years of age should be eating for 12 hours a day, which means they should be fasting for 12 hours a day. By fasting, I mean they could drink only water and nothing else. And as the age increases, your eating window should reduce to 10, 9, and 8 hours, which means your fasting window will keep increasing to 16 hours progressively. So, you could also do something called the high intensity interval training. Now, because most of you are having scarcity of time, very busy people, you may not have enough time to do your 10,000 steps of walking every day. Because if you really want to walk 10,000 steps and your speed at which you can walk is 100 steps a minute, then you will need 100 minutes to complete 10,000 steps in one day. I'm sure most people will say, my God, I cannot be spending so much time walking. So try to break that up into two parts and walk as much as you can during the day from the car to the lift. Avoid the lift, take the staircase, and again get up and keep moving around every half an hour or 1 hour. Go to the loop or what do move as much as possible during the day so that suppose you move 4,000 steps during the day, then you need to work out for 6,000 steps or 3,000 in the morning, 3,000 in the evening. So that could be easier for you to do, right? So my definition of hit, there are several ways in which you could be doing a hit. But the simplest way which I have devised, I would say that you walk for about 5 minutes at a normal pace for warming up, and then run as fast as possible without tripping and hurting yourself and creating a muscle tear or a ligament tear. Right? Don't harm yourself and don't overdo it. Run as fast as you can comfortably for 30 seconds. And after 20 seconds, you should be short of breath. So you start panting, huffing, and puffing, which is a good thing because it indicates that your body is short of oxygen. Only when your body is short of oxygen, it will start burning fat. And you're pushing your body to start burning fat more frequently. That's all we do by when you start panting. And then again, after 30 seconds, start walking for 3 to 5 minutes. Then again, start running for 30 seconds. And again, do this 2 to 3 times. But as your practice improves, you may do it 4 or 5 times. Right. And but before closing, the last 5 minutes, again, walk at a normal pace to cool down. So do this hit on an empty stomach and before breakfast or 1.5 hours after eating fruits in the evening. And drink plenty of water. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, take a glass of warm water and don't add anything to it. No nimbu and no cinnamon powder, nothing. No honey, right? So then after that, you can do some yoga or exercise or go for a walk, do the hit, do whatever you want. And then throughout the day, you should have one 200 or 250 ml glass of water. Don't drink too much water at one go. And do not drink any water 30 minutes before a meal and at least 90 minutes after a meal. In between, whenever you want, whenever you are thirsty, drink 200 to 250 ml of water. It's always good for you. Then you need to sleep for 7 to 8 hours every day. So that is very important because it's only when you sleep that your body actually gets time to heal itself. And your last meal, as I told you earlier, should be minimum 3 hours before you go to sleep. So your body is no longer busy digesting the food that you've eaten even while sleeping. Your body will concentrate more on healing itself and rejuvenating itself. And that is what will make you younger and healthier for a long, and you'll be able to enjoy that for a longer period in life. Then the most preferred sleeping time is 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. But I'm sure most people will say that's impossible. The kind of work schedule that you have, it may not be possible. But as close to that as you can get, the better for you. If you can't sleep at 9, try to sleep at 10, 11. But earlier the better. And if you cannot wake up at 5, try to get up at 6 or at least before sunrise. That's the best time actually. Earlier the better. So, and some people will say, I don't have I do not get proper sleep. Yes, that could be a problem because your mind is fully agitated, it's not calm. And but once you start walking 10,000 steps a day, you will be tired. So that could induce sleep. And even if after all that you do not feel sleepy, please do not fret. Fretting and saying, "Oh my God, I'm so tired, still I'm not able to sleep. What's wrong with me?" So your mind remains agitated, you'll never be able to sleep. So pretend that you're sleeping. Keep your eyes closed, keep your body as still as possible. Don't allow your mind to get agitated. It'll be as good as sleeping because your body is getting the full rest that it needs. Your mind is getting the full rest that it needs. So by tossing and turning around in your bed and agitatedly thinking about why sleep is eluding me, you're not giving proper rest to your mind and body. So this is the kind of preferred daily schedule that everybody should do if you wish to restore good health and maintain good health for the rest of your life. So wake up before dawn, have a glass of warm water. Then you must empty your bowels at least 2 times a day, because more than 90% of all illnesses are a result of an unclean gut. Then do some light exercise or yoga. And then 9 a.m., have a glass of green juice. By green juice, I mean you could have a cucumber juice or lauki ka juice. I mean bottle guard or any other thing to give the liquid. But make sure you add a lot of green leafy vegetables, like not just kothmeer, podina, lettuce, but also the kind of green leaves that one would tend to throw away, the leaves of the carrots and the radishes and the moolies. They are very healthy actually, but the cows or the buffaloes would relish eating them. Though you may not be relish eating it, at least you can juice it and drink the juice. It'll be very good for your health. It is nothing but chlorophyll, which is green blood. So for the plant, that is real blood, but for you, it is green blood. Very good for health, right? Then at around 9:15, you have 5 soaked and peeled almonds and 3 soaked walnuts. And around 9:30, you need to have a sumptuous breakfast. Idli, dosa, poha, oatmeal, whatever, so long as it remains plant-based whole food, right? Make sure there's bare minimum oil in it. And 2 teaspoons of ghee are allowed. And if you want to add some more omega-3 fatty acids, you can add flaxseed powder. And you could also eat some other things like almonds itself are high in omega-3. And chia seeds. You can soak some chia seeds, 2 or 3 teaspoons of chia seeds in a small katori or a container, and 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour before eating. So it will start swelling up, absorb all the water. So that you can add to your curds or lassi or even to your rice or your curry, and or eat it neat. I would love to eat it neat. I don't mind. I like it. So then around 12 noon, you should have a glass of Ashgard juice. Or if Ashgard is not available in your area, you can have the bottle guard or the whatever juice. And or even a tender coconut. That's also very good for health. And around 12:30, you can have a big bowl of carrots, tomatoes, cucumber. Now, recently I had read somewhere that you should not be eating cucumber and tomatoes one after the other or in the same bowl. I don't know, but most of the salads I've seen, they do contain both. But I'm not sure whether that theory is correct or not, but you can check it out for yourself. But eat as much as you want. There is no limit of, and especially the carrots, try to chew as many times as possible. That'll enable the saliva to get mixed with it and make a juice of the carrot inside your mouth instead of using a mixie to make the carrot juice. And then swallow the juice which you have created using your own teeth and your own saliva. Very, very good for health. And it'll clean up your teeth also. So extra bonus, right? So then around 1 p.m., you can have your lunch, which could comprise of 1 or 2 chapatis that could be made of whole grain wheat. By whole grain, I mean include the chaff or the chilka, the skin. Don't sieve away the atta or the flour and throw away the chaff. That chaff contains a lot of fiber, which is very good for health. Don't throw it away. And likewise, you could have rotis made out of maize or jawar or bajra or so many, or even ragi, right? So Or you could have some rice with dal. Dal is very good. It will give you protein and a lot of good fiber also. Make sure everything is plant-based whole food with minimal oil. So around 4:30, you can have as much fruits as you want, minimum 500 grams of fresh fruits. You can have papaya, guava, chiku, pomegranate, muskmelon, watermelon, whatever fruits are grown locally and easily available. Don't go for the exotic brands that have been imported. The simple rule is the time lapsed between the time the fruit was harvested from the tree and the time it reaches your stomach should be minimum. If it is less than a few hours, fantastic. If it is a day or two, okay. But if it is a month or two, the fruit may have lost most of its nutritious value and may not be as good for health as the fresh fruit would be. So then after 6 p.m., assuming you stop eating before 5 p.m., in 1 hour the fruit would
गाली बनते
that
हो
you've eaten would have got digested. Then 6 p.m. you do the hit or go for a walk to complete your 10,000 steps. Then come back and complete your work for the day or watch TV or do whatever you want. And by 9 p.m. switch off all your lights and go to sleep. So this is the preferred schedule if you really wish to restore health and maintain good health. The closer you can get to the schedule, the better for all of you. And for how long? Well, if you're already having some obesity, diabetes, BP, or some other lifestyle ailments, then you should do it for minimum 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks, you will start noticing tangible improvement in your own health. Your BP will start reducing, your blood sugar will become head toward normal. All your parameters will start heading toward normal within 3 weeks. So that should give you enough confidence to enable you to continue for longer. But make sure you're in constant touch with your doctor, saying that, hey, my BP is reducing. Do I need to continue taking 3 tablets a day or should I reduce it to two? And then finally one and finally zero. And likewise for your sugar. My blood sugar levels have started reducing from 250 to 200, then 150, and now the so then your insulin dosage or the medicine that you're taking to keep your blood sugar low, that also can keep reducing, right? So though I should not be saying this, I'm not demeaning the allopathy industry, but what really happens when you take any insulin or a medicine to control blood sugar, it is only attacking the problem. It is not going to the root cause. Thereby, you are compelled to take that medicine for life because you're not removing the cause. So by implementing all that I've told you, you're addressing the root cause of the problem. And once the root cause has been corrected, then the disease itself will disappear and the need for medicine will also disappear. Then once you're weaned of all medication, you can slowly revert back to the longer eating window, depending on your age. If your age is below 35, you could eat for 10, 12 hours a day. If your age keeps increasing, you have to keep reducing the window. Like I'm 65 years old and I eat for only 8 hours a day and I feel very comfortable. It's not that I feel hungry at night. On the contrary, I noticed yesterday there was a party at the Secunderabad club and I was forced to attend, even though I did not want to. But due to social compulsions, I had to attend. And once I go there, I keep saying, hey, I'm a believer in good. All that is nonsense. You first eat. If you don't care about all that, you can do all that for the rest of 365, 364 days. One day when you're with us, you have to break all those rules. So I had some dinner yesterday. And whether you believe it or not, in the morning, 6 a.m., I was feeling hungry. When normally I would not feel hungry till 9 a.m. if I had my last meal at 5 p.m. So the more frequently you eat, your body gets used to that. Oh, I want more, I want more, I want more. Like the same thing happens when you are a kid, right? You got a toy. The moment you get one toy, I want more, I want more. The moment you get the next toy, oh, that's not good enough. I want more, I want more. So same thing happens to your body. The way you train it, that's all what counts, right? So one, I have trained my body very well. I did not have any withdrawal symptoms. In fact, I feel very energetic by eating less and my weight is reduced, my health has improved. What more do you want? And everybody says I'm looking 10 years or 15 years younger than I was looking 10 years ago, right? So then you should also do a 36-hour water fast once in 2 weeks. Again, in earlier days, by default, people were doing it by observing a fast called the Ekadasi, which comes once in 2 weeks. But again, people forgot all about it. So, but once in 2 weeks, if you have your last meal at 5 p.m. and do not eat anything for the next day, the whole of next day, and then have your breakfast at 9 a.m. on the following day, then for 36 hours or 40 hours, you're virtually living on water, which is very, very good for your health. And even I've been doing it for the last few months, and I've not faced any problem. Like, so, in fact, some of the people I know have done the 72-hour and the 120-hour water fast and improved their health. But fortunately, I did not feel the need of doing it till now, but I'm very keen to do it. So I may do it soon. But very frankly, I've not done the 72-hour and the 120-hour water only fast till now. But then twice in a year, you must do something called a 7 days low calorie, one meal a day. And again, by default, people were doing it a few years ago by observing Navratri fasts. Now, Navratris happen twice a year, once when the season changes from summer to winter, that is around Dasera. So the 9 days preceding Dasera are called Navratris. So people would observe a fast, eat once a day for those 9 days, and they used to improve their health. And again, the second set of Navratris happened after Ugadi, the day of Ugadi, the first year of the Hindu calendar is called Ugadi, till the Ram Navami. Those 9 days are called the Navratris. They happen when the winter is ending and the summer is about to begin. So because of this change in the season, you're prone to having some cold and other, diseases. Your immunity goes down because of the season changing. So to give a major boost to your immune system, it is very good if you observe a fast by eating only once a day, and that to less than 500 calories. Then your body remains healthy for the next 6 months. That is why the people in the olden days would very religiously practice the Navratras, but everybody attached only religious connotations and thought it's all humbug and nonsense and gave up all the very nice practices that our predecessors, parents, grandparents, and people were doing for so many centuries and maintaining good health. And if you notice, the number of cancer cases, the number of heart attacks people are getting after they've given up all this is going on increasing. So obviously, the change in lifestyle is the most important reason why people are suffering from so many lifestyle ailments. But I'm telling that you could definitely have a cheat day like I myself had yesterday by having a dinner. And you can do that so long as you are totally off medication. While you're on medication, please avoid cheat days. Observe everything that I've told you very strictly. Once you're off medication, then you can have a cheat day once in a while. And to make up for that, do a 36-hour water only fast immediately as soon as possible so that your body gets back into the same rhythm, which is very good for your health. So I wish that all of you enjoy abundance of good health, wealth, peace, and prosperity for the rest of your life. That's the reason why I've been doing this lectures. I've started doing this, and I hope like earlier I was giving lectures on wealth management, and I have given more than 828 lectures. I hope that a similar thing will kickstart with this lecture starting at Virtusa today. And I wish that you will remain an asset to your family and society because you're a breadwinner, and especially if you're the sole breadwinner, it's even more important. But even if your spouse is working, each breadwinner is an asset to the family. So remain an asset to the family and do not, for heaven's sake, become a liability. Now, please don't misunderstand me. Liability is something that drains your financial resources, right? So if you're not in a position to work and earn, and you're in hospital and needing assistance financially, then obviously that asset becomes a liability. I'm sorry to say, but I would not like any of you to become a liability. Please remain an asset for as long as possible. So that's why I chose the topic. Remain younger, healthier, and happier for longer. So now my name is Dr. Anand Mohan Agarwal, and I'm the CEO of Samvardhan Greenfields LLP. And I've given you my contact details. You can note them down. And if you have any questions, you can ask them now. I'm throwing the session open for Q&A. And even otherwise, you could send me a message on WhatsApp saying, hey, I attended your lecture and I would like to get some doubts clarified. If you can put the doubts in the message, great. I'll let you know at what time, preferred time, you can call me. So at a mutually convenient date and time, you can call me and get all your doubts cleared. I only want to ensure that you understand everything properly and remain healthy and happy for the rest of your life. Okay? Thanks a lot. So, any questions?
Yeah, Dr. Anand, this is Srikanth. So some of the unlearnings, like were always mentioning about you need to eat at regular intervals, and then they were saying that take each bit of small foods multiple times. This was unlearning for us that
Yes,
did not hold good.
yes,
So
yes. That was wrong advice. The wrong advice was being given to everybody saying eat smaller meals 7 times a day rather than two meals, big meals. I mean, I'm very clear about it. I have tried both. I mean, I ruined my health by implementing the changed and scenario what you're saying, having 3 meals a day, snacking twice a day, having a few pegs of whiskey or beer in the evening, and then snacks along with it, and dinner later on, and midnight biryani, 4 a.m. biryani. I've done all of that, and ruined my health.
yeah, thanks so much. So second unlearning was people always say take fruits in the morning, avoid fruits in the night. But that is also a fresh unlearning that it need
No,
not
no, I'm
be.
not saying have fruits in the night. I'm very clearly saying have fruit before 5 p.m.
Yeah. So people are always saying have it as a breakfast, have fruits
Yeah,
prepared.
I'm not stopping you from having it after breakfast.
Okay, okay. That is
All
also
right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I did not. I should have mentioned my mistake. You can have fruits along with breakfast. I mean, preferably you should maintain the sequence. I mean, you should understand that fruits get digested quickly. So if you want, you can start your breakfast with fruits so that whatever you eat, the fruit that you eat, will start getting digested. And then you can have the heavier stuff which will remain in your stomach for longer. But I've seen some people do the reverse. They have a heavy lunch, and after the heavy lunch, then they have a little bit of fruit. That may not be good, because
Yeah,
the fruit is lying on top of the heavy meal. So even if it is digested, it can't move down into the intestines because it is being blocked by the heavier meal that you had already had.
yeah, thanks, doctor. I feel it's a 1 hour very usefully spent. Thanks for all your time.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you very much. So, any more questions?
If anybody has any questions, you can ask now.
Or you could send me a WhatsApp indicating whatever questions, and I will let you know when to call me. Then we can have a. By the way, WhatsApp is available on both the numbers. The mobile number for WhatsApp was disabled for some time because WhatsApp people thought I'm spamming people by sending too many messages informing them that I'm starting this program. So please go through my video on YouTube. But after 1 month of battling it out with him, they realized that perhaps I'm not spamming people. I'm sending useful and pertinent messages, and they reopened WhatsApp after struggling for 1 month. So that's why I had to take another mobile number on which WhatsApp has been working from day one. Yeah, so any more questions, please? And by the way, does anybody remember this fitnesspandas@gmail.com? No, it may ring a bell in their mind at least. I was the same guy who gave lectures on personal wealth creation and risk management at all leading corporate. I've given more than 800 lectures, more than 100 at iGate and Infosys, and more than 50 each at IBM, Wipro, Saskin, and like that. Minimum around 20 lectures at Virtusa and 20 more at Polaris. Now both of them have merged. So in the merged entity of Virtusa, I've given 40 lectures on personal wealth creation and risk management more than 10, 15 years ago. And the same email ID, same mobile number was there at that time as well. So any more questions, please? I'm seeing there are some chats. Can I open the chats window to see what the chats were?
Yes, sir. So
Yeah, can you have the presentation? Yeah, presentation recording will be made available by the organizers, hopefully. Am I right?
yes, sir. We'll keep the presentation to the
Yeah,
end.
so that's so wonderful session. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. So all the people who have given this wonderful feedback, thank you very much. And if you want to have more sessions, please send your feedback to your organizers whenever they feel It's important. They will schedule multiple sessions, hopefully. And in any case, the lecture is being recorded, so people can go through recording as well. And you want your friends to attend the lecture in other companies, you can tell them to contact me or contact their HR and get going, whatever way, right? I'm prepared. I'm prepared to give 800, 1,000, or as many lectures as required, devote as much time, and I don't need any money. I'm doing it for free as a social cause. All right.
Great, great. This is a really useful session that we had today. I got a lot of insights for myself.
No, I'm sure you would. I mean, I had no doubt at all. Even when I gave the lectures on wealth management earlier, even though the CFO and the chartered accountants would attend my lecture, they thought they were the experts on matters pertaining to finance. But they said, "Sir, we knew only 1% of what you told us in the 2.5 hour lecture." So I'm sure even when doctors attend my lecture, they will appreciate, because unfortunately, there is no subject called nutrition in the MBBS course. That is the sad part of. That's the reason why most doctors are not aware of all that I have told you in the last 1 hour.
Right, sir. Absolutely. Anyway, so if there are no questions, I think definitely we can. I think somebody has raised a hand. Janaki Ram, you could unmute
Yeah, so
and ask the question. Yeah.
anybody's asking questions?
Janaki Ram has raised the hand.
Yeah, so Janaki, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask. Janaki, are you there?
It might have been by mistake.
Okay, meanwhile, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Sandeep, you are trying to say something?
Yes. So, doctor, are you only confined to taking sessions on health nowadays, or will you also be taking some personal finance sessions?
No, finance sessions I've stopped doing because I've also written a book. If you want, you can note down the name of the book. It's called Overcome Financial Stress. It's available on Kindle. So all that I want to tell you in the lecture is, and I'm sure if you dig deeper on YouTube, you'll find some recorded lectures. Though I was not recording my lecture because in those days, uploading a 2.5 hour lecture was not possible. I'm told that some of the audience would record my lecture and put up snippets of it here and there. I'm not sure how that works, but otherwise, book is good enough. You can read my book on how to create wealth. More than 41,000 working professionals have learned, and all of them have told me that because they attended my session today, they've become crorepati's, and their friends who were laughing at them saying, "Why are you wasting your time attending this session? You sit and do your work. I'll guide you on how to manage your wealth." Their friends are still languishing, struggling to pay their EMIs and not having enough money after the 10th of any month, scratching their head, wondering where all the money has disappeared. Whereas all the people who implemented all that I told them, they are having minimum 1 crore plus worth of assets. They have not taken any home loan to buy their home. They bought their home without taking a loan. I taught them how to do that. They have not taken the car loan to buy their car. I taught them how to buy the car without taking a car loan. So I taught them how to create assets without taking loans. The moment you take a loan to buy a car or the house, the car or the house remains a liability till the EMIs are being serviced. Only after the EMIs are fully paid up, it may become an asset. But by then it's too late. I suppose you may want to change your car and perhaps not your house, but even a house after 20 years or 25 years or 30 years, whatever your EMI payment term, right? So
Yeah.
how to acquire assets, how to create assets. That was the main theme of my lecture. It is still applicable even today. There is no change in the scenario. And the
I'll
reason I was
certainly
doing
read
that is
this.
because the CEO of Wipro in those days was a very good friend of mine he was also from BITS Pilani. I'm from BITS Pilani, a triple E engineer. He was also triple E engineer. So he would tell me, yeah, we are paying good salaries to some of the brilliant minds in the country, but by the 10th of the month, they run out of money and they're scratching their head, wondering what's happening. So something needs to be done to educate them. Then he requested me to get into that, though I was nowhere concerned. I was happily doing my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. And of late, I became a real estate big time and made big money. And therefore, I thought giving back to society is important. I'd already done enough for wealth creation. So let me do something for health restoration as well.
Interesting. Thank you so much for answering, sir.
Yeah, okay, welcome. So you got the name of the book, Overcome Financial Stress. It's
Yes,
available on
yes.
Kindle. And whatever money you pay to Kindle goes to charity. I don't get $1 out of it.
Okay.
They say we cannot sell it for free. So I said, okay, then take the money and do what you want with it. Don't put it in my bank account. But these lectures will remain free, the YouTube lectures or whatever, even the in-house sessions at our corporate. And the recorded sessions obviously will remain free. You can view them as many times, whenever you want. All right, Bobby, are you there? Any organizers there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah, Sindhuja.
Yes, sir.
So, fine. So,
we can wrap up the session here.
you can wrap up. All right.
Right.
So, thank you very much. So, please take the feedback and try to take this to the next level and ramp up to wherever and whenever possible.
Definitely, sir. For sure. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.